All right, we are live early this morning. It is here. We've been talking about it for almost a week now, this upcoming winter storm, and the snow has finally made it to Memphis and the Mid-South. We are live on our Facebook page, YouTube, and ABC24 Plus as well. It is 3:03 on this Friday morning. This will replay a couple of times, so you might be watching it just a little bit later than that. I'm going to go ahead and share this over on my Facebook page. Make sure everybody knows we're live talking about this snow. Again, current time right now is 3:03, but because this is going to replay a couple of times, I'm going to do a quick pause and just reset for the folks that might be watching on the replay a little bit later. All right, good Friday morning. Current time is 3:03 in the morning. I'm meteorologist Trevor Birchett here with ABC24 in Memphis. Some of you joining us live, others watching on a replay through the rest of the morning. Wherever you're watching, however you're watching, we appreciate you being with us early on this Friday morning. And it is definitely an early Friday morning. But we've been talking about it now for about a week. The snow was coming in, and it is here. Look at the radar. Most of the Mid-South now seeing at least some kind of wintry weather. So far, the forecast, spot on. No major changes needed to the forecast. Everywhere in this blue color, that is where we are seeing mostly snow. For us in Memphis, DeSoto County, it's pretty much all snow at this point. Most of eastern Arkansas. Western Tennessee, a little bit lighter snow. A lot of it hasn't quite made it up toward Dyersburg yet, but it's coming. If you're not seeing it yet, you will really soon. Now, what we had been talking about is that we could see a little bit more of a wintry mix down to the south, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. We have this purple in here. That is an area where there's a little bit of a mix of rain, sleet, and snow. And of course, anytime you get snow and rain mixing in at the same time, it's going to lower your overall snowfall totals. So that's why we lowered the snowfall forecast for places like Clarksdale and Oxford, because as expected, they're going to be getting some of that sleet that mixes in. Oxford for a while looked like they were mostly sleet. They probably do still have some sleet now, but radar's trying to indicate more of a switch to snow. So for our friends down here in North Mississippi, Clarksdale, Batesville, Marks, Oxford, that kind of bottom row of counties, they'll kind of see a switch back and forth through the day between rain, sleet, snow. For everybody else, Memphis area, West Tennessee, most of eastern Arkansas, this is going to be all snow, and there's plenty more of it where that came from. Look at how big this system is. Really, it is just getting going here. We have snow still all the way back through Arkansas, and that is all headed our way. Just a ton of moisture associated with this system, and it's all coming up toward us. Still a winter storm warning in effect for Memphis and the Mid-South. This is going to go through, I believe, 1 p.m. tomorrow. They did extend it through most of the day because even though the snow will end later today, the impacts will continue through tomorrow with impacts on the roads. And boy, are we seeing impacts on the roads. This is a live look in Cordova. This is from our Hope Church camera. Walnut Grove Road right here is pretty much covered at this point. I mean, traffic is making it. Obviously, that person going very slow. We had some accumulation on the grassy surfaces, but as you can see now, we are really starting to see that accumulation stack up on the pavement and the roadways. So it is not taking long at all for things to get going. This is the flyover, and I actually want to move this camera around a little bit because this will give us a really good idea of how the road conditions are. First of all, look how heavy that snow is coming down. It's almost blowing around a little bit in the light. What I'm going to do is zoom out here just a little bit and get us a slightly better view off toward the flyover here. That's where we're looking at. This is on top of Royal Furniture there off of Summer Avenue, not far from the drive-in there. So there's the flyover. Nobody on it right now, which is good. There are some folks over there on some of those side streets not too far from the drive-in. Traffic, obviously very light as it should be. Here comes another vehicle here, and obviously they're going to take it very slow. What I do want to do really quick is just kind of turn this around to the north, and I want to face up Interstate 40 toward Covington Pike and just see how the roads are doing there. This is probably a slightly better view of the roads for us here. As that part of the interstate's a little closer to this camera, and I'll go ahead and zoom this in here just a little bit. And again, traffic is making it. There are some cars out there. But the roads are starting to get really messy. You can see how slow people are taking it. Probably a little bit of that slush on the roads because they did treat a lot of the interstates with that salt and sand and brine and stuff. So that's melting the snow a little bit, but that actually makes it kind of slushy. So even if the interstate was treated, well, it's still going to have probably some issues out there. So again, that's a live look toward the flyover. Roads started to get bad there. I also want to share with you a live look in Corinth. This is a new camera that we're offering. This is from our friends over at Iron Rail Cams. They're sharing this with us for today's winter storm, and boy, is it starting to come down in Corinth as well at a pretty good clip, and you can see all of that accumulation down over in Alcorn County as well. A couple of cameras from across the Mid-South. This is a look at 240 and Poplar. Things have seen better days there. It does look like a lane open, at least for the most part, but it's starting to get pretty slushy. Same story at 55 in Mallory. 385 looks rough right now. Yeah, it looks mostly clear, but it's going to slick up pretty quick. I-40 and Canada Road almost completely covered. It seems like there's just maybe one lane open where maybe one or two plows came by, or those cars are just kind of driving around. All right, these are your bridges. If you got to get across the bridges today, this is Interstate 40 bridge here, the M bridge. It's in pretty rough shape. Again, one lane may be open. Same story on 55, one lane partially open, but it is slick out there. Not a great view from the Helena Bridge yet this morning down in Mississippi. The lights, they don't have lights on the bridge at night, but there's some kind of flashing lights there, so I would imagine things might be slicking up there. And then at the flyover, things pretty slick as well. I got a question about Walnut Grove, and a great time for you to ask that because we have a camera on Walnut Grove. We were just showing that. So this is at Hope Church in Cordova, looking out toward Walnut Grove, and you can see Walnut Grove is almost completely covered with snow. That's right there at the entrance to Hope Church. There are some tire tracks out there where cars have been trying to come by. But again, we have several more hours of heavy snow that will continue. And so those roads, now that they have that base layer of snow, it's going to be a lot easier for snow to accumulate on top of that. So Walnut Grove is in pretty rough shape this morning. I want to take you down to Mississippi. And things are not looking great here at all. My goodness, let's take a look at some of these cameras. This is going to be 55 in Rasco, the interstate, probably the best of all of these. It has a lane or two open there. Goodman and Getwell looks a mess. This is Goodman Road here, some tire tracks in the pavement. 78, also not great. This is 78 at Highway 305 in Olive Branch. I mean, it is just a crawl out there. And look at that overpass. It's almost completely covered there. And it's the same thing on 55 at the Hernando exit, Highway 304. Those bridges and overpasses, they'll be the first to slick up. But even the regular side streets, they have a base layer of snow on them, and they'll continue to get slick through the day. So a winter storm, obviously, today that continues through most, if not all, of the day today. Slick roads likely through the day, and then even into tomorrow and Sunday, those roads will stay pretty slick. We might get above freezing this afternoon, but then we get back to the 20s tonight, so that slush is going to refreeze, and that's probably going to make the worst road conditions. They'll probably be tomorrow morning is when the roads will be worst. And then we'll see a little improvement tomorrow afternoon before the same thing happens again Sunday morning with the refreezing. And then things will get a little better Sunday afternoon. It might be Monday afternoon, even Monday night before we start to see any real improvement. Because while we'll be above freezing, the nighttime temperatures will be below freezing. So we're going to be going through this melting and refreezing each night. And it is all going to depend on how much sunshine we get to evaporate the water. We want it to melt and evaporate, to get off the road completely. So if the sun comes out, that'll help. But it is going to be a couple of days before roads get back into better shape. So obviously winter storm today, still expecting several inches of snowfall, and just plan to be off the roads today. That is your best bet. This is our final forecast map. We're not going to touch it anymore. This is the latest expectation as I look at the radar trends, the forecast from last night. Meteorologist Kit Thomas and meteorologist Corey Smith, they were crunching some numbers on this. I made some slight adjustments with what's coming in this morning, but it does look like the heaviest snow band in purple will be from Forest City, Wynne, West Memphis, DeSoto County, Memphis, up to Tipton County, Brownsville, and Fayette County. In those areas, 5 to 7 inches likely. If you get caught in a really heavy snow band, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more than that. But in general, for the Memphis metro, That's Crittenden, Shelby, and DeSoto. You're looking at 5 to 7 inches. A little less to the north. Dyersburg closer to 3 to 5. Truman 4 to 6. Blytheville probably somewhere in between 3 to 6 inches. In North Mississippi, we continue to lower those totals just a little bit, like what I was telling you. But we do have some sleet and rain mixing in as expected. That's going to cut into your snow totals in Oxford, probably closer to 1 to 3 for Oxford and Clarksdale, 2 to 4 for Holly Springs and Corinth, maybe a bit more than that if more snow can mix in than the sleet, and then probably a 3 to 5 for Tunica and Tate County. Again, most of us are going to see snow. There's going to be a little bit of a wintry mix in North Mississippi at times where we see some rain or some sleet. Still big impacts. It just might be less snow and more sleet and some rain at times. That would mainly be between Clarksdale and Oxford. Here's your hour-by-hour radar. I'm going to have to adjust this. I did not adjust this yet when I got in this morning. I've been here since about 11 o'clock at night, so you'll have to forgive me. Let's see if we can get this adjusted here and get a look at how this forecast is going to shape up. There we go. That is the latest current model here. So let's pick it up. Temperatures pretty much below freezing for everybody. The snow has moved in. Notice by 6 a.m. still heavy snow. Down in North Mississippi, that ice mix with some sleet or rain possible between Clarksdale and Oxford. Everybody else seeing snow. I do think even if you see a little sleet mix in Oxford, it'll eventually switch back to snow by lunchtime. And then that snow doesn't really start to move out until 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. Again, we do get just above freezing later today. That could allow a little bit of melting, but then look what happens overnight. By tomorrow morning, we're in the low to mid 20s, so anything that melts will refreeze. Roads are bad today already. They're going to be bad through the day. I think the roads will be worst early tomorrow morning as the sun is just coming up. Now, we do get above freezing tomorrow afternoon. We'll get to 34, 35. That'll help start the melting process. And then with some sunshine, hopefully we'll get a little evaporation. But again, big winter storm today, maybe a little melting later on once this stops after 3 p.m. 34 tomorrow, so we'll have a freeze in the morning, maybe a little melting tomorrow afternoon with sunshine. I think things refreeze Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon is maybe the day we see a little bit more improvement with some sunshine and a high near 40. But as far as the roads getting completely back to normal, might be Monday afternoon or even Tuesday. There's probably going to be a couple of slick spots even early on Monday morning. So as we continue to monitor this developing winter storm, we do have live updates all through the morning. You can get those on the ABC24 app. It's a free download. Just search ABC24 in your App Store or Google Play. We have the radar on there, live streams, cameras, all that good stuff. We also want to see your photos and videos. Join our Facebook group, the ABC24 Weather Watchers. That's on Facebook. You can just search that up, ABC24 Weather Watchers. Share your photos, share your videos, share your reports, whether you're seeing sleet, rain, or snow. We'd love to know it, and we're going to use some of those photos and videos on air this morning as we begin that coverage. Speaking of, we're starting early. We're continuing longer. 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. extended coverage today. That's going to start at 5 a.m. right here on ABC24 Plus and on air on ABC24. And again, we'll continue that coverage through 8 a.m. with road reports, the latest forecast, cameras from around the area, and what you can expect if you do have to head out the door. For now, I'm going to sign off. I'll be back at 5 a.m. We're going to start our extended coverage then. You can watch right here. You can also watch on ABC24 on TV. So I will see you back here then. We're going to keep watching the snow come down. Stay warm, stay safe.